After last week's parsha, where God commands Moshe to take revenge on the Midianites for leading Israel into harlotry and idolatry, a sin that brought a devastating plague claiming 24,000 lives, this week's double parsha, Matot Masei, describes the fulfillment of that command. Israel goes to battle against Midian, killing their 5 kings as well as Bilam. From there, the Torah recounts the stages of Israel's journey from leaving Egypt all the way to the edge of the land, where they finally arrive at the plains of Moab, standing at the Jordan River directly across from Jericho. It is at this moment, on the threshold of entering the land, that God gives Moshe an essential message to convey to the people. The land they are about to enter is steeped in idolatry. For Israel's sake, God lays out 4 responsibilities they must carry out as he grants them the land. 1. Destroy the idolatry that fills it. 2. Dispossess the current inhabitants. 3. Take possession of the land. And 4. Settle it. But God also issues a stark warning. If Israel fails to do this, then the very inhabitants who remain, those who are meant to be driven out, will become pins in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will harass Israel in the land, and God concludes the punishment intended for those nations will instead fall upon Israel. This raises a difficult question. Why would God punish Israel with the same consequences meant for the inhabitants of the land? Sforno explains that if Israel does not remove the inhabitants, then over time Israel will begin to absorb their habits and practices, including their idolatry. In Vayikra, God already warns that the land vomits out those who defile it. So if Israel adopts the customs and moral standards of the nations living there, they expose themselves to the very same fate. Ralbag argues that the punishment cannot be exactly the same. God's intention was to destroy the current inhabitants, but it is not God's desire to destroy Israel. In contrast, Malbim and Netziv clarify that the punishment in this context is not destruction, but expulsion. In other words, midah keneged midah, measure for measure. If Israel does not expel the inhabitants, then the inhabitants will ultimately try to expel Israel. Israel has always been known for its acts of loving kindness and compassion, more so than any other nation. But kindness, as beautiful as it is, can sometimes be misplaced. As Midrash Tanchuma in Parshat Metzorah teaches, Kol shenaseh rachman al hachzari, lasof naseh achzar al harachmanim. Anyone who becomes merciful upon the cruel will in the end be cruel to the merciful. God is warning Israel not to misdirect their compassion, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel, because misplaced kindness will ultimately backfire and boomerang back onto them. As Kohelet says, Lakol zman, ve'et lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. Or to paraphrase, there's a time and place for everything. Before Israel enters the land, God is teaching them what is appropriate and when. Kindness is blessed, but only when shown at the right time and in the right place. Otherwise, it can harm instead of help. Shabbat Shalom.